In Lesson 4.10, you created an extended version of the Grid View control, adding additional logic to it. Web user controls allow you to do the same thing a lot more easily, and allow you to create even more advanced controls. Web user controls are the best way to create custom controls. To begin this lesson, open the JOES-Bar Web Application project from your Sample Files folder. You're now going to create a new Web User control. Right-click JOES-Bar Web Application in the Solution Explorer and click Add, New Item. Now click Web in the left-hand pane and click Web User Control in the central pane. In the Name box, type mailcontrol.ascx and click Add. Your new web user control is created and its code is automatically opened. A web user control can be edited in exactly the same way as an ASPX page. Click the Design button in the bottom left corner of the main Visual Studio pane to switch to Design View. Now add a text box control to the web user control. Set the ID property of your new text box to text box email address. Now add a button control just after the text box control. Set its ID property to button sign up and set its text property to sign up. You're now going to add some code to your web user control that will send an email message. Add a click event handler to your button control. And add the following code to the new event handler. system.net.mail.smtp client equals new system.net.mail.smtp client string address to sign up equals text box email address dot text client dot send simon.smart@learnasp4.com info@learnasp4.com discount sign up sign up plus address to sign up text box email address dot text equals thanks for signing up button sign up dot enabled equals false text box email address dot enabled equals false. This code sends an email message when the button is clicked. Note that web user controls can contain their own custom methods and properties. All you need to do to add a custom property to a web user control is to create a public property in its code behind file. Note that in order for the property to be visible in the Properties window, the property must have get and set accessors. These are covered in Session 7 of the Essential Skills course. To add a method to a web user control, simply create a public method in its code behind file. You're now going to add your web user control to a page. Open default.aspx in Design View. Now scroll to the bottom of the page and click and drag mailcontrol.ascx from the Solution Explorer and onto the bottom of the page. Your web user control is added to the page just like any other control. Now switch to Source View and let's examine the code. Near the top of the code, notice the line %@register src equals mailcontrol.ascx. You used some very similar code when you added an extended grid view control to a page in Lesson 4.11. Dragging and dropping a web user control onto a page adds this code automatically. Now let's test your new control. View default.aspx in your web browser. Your new control appears at the bottom of the page. Note that the Sign Up button will not work unless a mail server is available. You learned about this in Lesson 2.9. Web user controls can vastly reduce the amount of code a web application needs, and ensure that controls work consistently throughout the application. If a collection of controls and code are used in multiple places in your application, you can use web user controls to centralize their code into one place. Web user controls are also useful because of their portability. Web user controls can easily be copied into different projects, enabling you to distribute and reuse complex components. Close your web browser now and close Visual Studio. You've now completed Lesson 7.4. Create a web user control.